do it every year. It's like, oh, this team got beat here, so they didn't deserve X, Y, Z.
We deserve to be ranked higher, and we want some respect.
I would love to antagonize people and egg some people on and see what kind of chaos we can have in the stands.
FCS Fans Nation. For some of you who are going to join us on this, I assume, as you're searching YouTube for some information on realignment, I assume G6 fans as well. Welcome to an off-season podcast. The unbiased Bison M and Matt Frazee and his good friend, his cohort, the Taco King himself, former Bison player, an elite human all around, Brian Thompson. Us two coming to you guys live because it is Super Bowl weekend. So the biggest sports news around the world, of course, is FCS G6 FBS college football realignment. We had to jump on here and react, and we're happy to see you guys on an off season and talk about the breaking news, which is for the first time in a long waiting period, the North Dakota State Bison have a formal invitation to the Mountain West, and a Bison longtime born fan from 1989 and a Montana boy who played for the NDSU Bison are going to hop on here, we'll give you our thoughts, and we'll kind of talk it out. Brian, some interesting decor you've got behind you. Is there any reasoning? Are you sending a message out here?
It's just, mountains are pretty, especially out west. It's beautiful out there. So I thought tonight we would just, look at some mountains in the background.
Yeah, well, it's always pretty. It's like going to one of those Montana schools, or Weber State. You can enjoy in the stands that beautiful mountain behind. Very similar to North Dakota landscape.
Yeah, hey, very similar, like the bridge up on 12th Avenue.
Just the same. All right, guys. Well, listen, next 30, 40 minutes, we're just going to take you through our thoughts on what is currently going on. We aren't going to spend a lot of time on what is happening because the reality is most of you already know. Formal invite has gone out to North Dakota State. They are in serious discussions right now for North Dakota State to take a football-only invite, a.k.a. the dream scenario for NDSU, to finally elevate and go to the FBS level where Kennesaw State, Sam Houston, Missouri State, the great James Madison, and the former powers of App State, Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina for a minute have gone up to the FBS. And that is where we currently sit. There is a players meeting scheduled to talk about future scheduling at 7 a.m. on Monday after a Super Bowl. Brutal. But there's no week for the weary. And we are here to discuss what are the impacts on the FCS, what are the impacts on North Dakota State, and where do we go from here? Brian Thompson, you have been in the weeds. You're a former player. You're well known. You're a business owner. You do a lot of things. Talk about the trail of, just the last 6 months to a year of what you kind of heard about this scuttle from your people, let's say.
Yeah, it's been interesting. When it first started out, I think a lot of people were like really wary of moving up over from the FCS, where you can kind of look at NDSU. We have our castle and we own it, in terms. But I think over the last year, you've seen a lot of sediment of people saying, all right, this has been great. It's been fun, but it's time to move up. And you started to hear in chatter about a year ago that there might be some talks going on. But then at NDSU, they kept their lips pretty quiet for the most part. You wouldn't hear much out of them. Larson didn't speak much on it, just said, recently was the biggest or most he's let out, saying we always want to compete at the top level. But come November, December this last year, the noise in a smaller group got pretty loud that NDSU was going to move up. And I know I said back November, December, I said, hey, I think we're going, because I was hearing it from a couple people that wouldn't say much unless they were pretty positive on that. So I guess, NDSU, though, over the time just kind of kept quiet, didn't say much about it. And I think that's the good way to go until you are ready to go. And I think now it's out. Again, NDSU didn't say much when they released their formal statement this morning. But from what you hear at the basketball game today, Polisak, who's usually his normal talking to everybody, had to go home, and Larson, when asked about it, just said there'll be more to come, basically, later.
Yeah, and this is where I want to take this trail, is how NDSU handled this. I said this when James Madison made their jump to the Sun Belt. I do think these situations are comparable, of like the perfect situation. James Madison moves up with peer institutions, original regional rivalries right around them. That's not NDSU in this situation. They have no regional rivalry with UNLV or Nevada or Hawaii. However, what I really liked, and if you've talked to me in person, and I'll be a little more fanish tonight, okay? I'm just gonna let people know. Be a little more of a fan. I'm gonna let it off a little bit. Is what I love about NDSU's approach is, unlike a Sacramento State, similar to James Madison, you had to approach this quietly and work in the backgrounds and in the shadows, because you've got real recruitment on the line. If NDSU is promoting itself as the place where you can win a national championship, you don't compete for bowl games, and you come here and you're the top dog, you're number one, how do you also go public and beg for the FBS invite? You can't do it. It's counterintuitive, and it just cuts you deep. James Madison did the same thing, and their administrators got tons of praise after they made the quiet move. And I think Matt Larson and the presidents and the administration of NDSU has done the exact same thing. How can we maintain FCS dominance while laying the groundwork of wanting to compete at the highest level? And until it actually happened, and a lot of NDSU fans got madder and madder and more upset. Why aren't we being public? Say something, say something. Well, guess what? Slowly, professionally dominating in two different arenas, or as a program that's sustained as long as NDSU, you do things this way. You put out the statement, you stay quiet, and eventually you release it to the world, and up you go. So I think NDSU handled this great. At this point, we're going to go as like it's assumed this is happening. If it doesn't, you're not going to want to be in Fargo, because a cold place will probably not burn as it's going to get bad. But it could get really, really ugly. Football only invite, Brian. I mean, you've talked about this forever. You've talked about all sports. You've talked about this. Where'd your mind go when you heard that that was actually the possibility?
When they came football only, it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, the travel is going to be expensive for NDSU. You know, I think there's going to be short pain for long-term gain, because if I'm not mistaken, NDSU won't be eligible for bowl games for 2 years, I think, on it. So you're looking $5 million to move to the FBS. And then what is the Mountain West going to want to join their conference?
It's allegedly 10 million. So you're 15 million deep there. And then you're going to have the buyouts, because the odds of you playing all these FCS opponents, traveling to Incarnate Word, I was texting good friend Andrew Markham. Like,
yeah, I was.
The odds that NDSU does that? Yeah, me too. But, you know, what are the odds NDSU does that? So you're, 16.5 million.
Yeah.
Now, ironically, tonight, it was tweeted out by Kolpak, who's an NDSU and a Fargo Forum reporter, and he goes, I remember the days when team makers would get checks at basketball games for the year for $700,000. And the team maker check tonight was 6.5 million. So you know this, Brian, and you've talked in the past about other schools, SDSUs, the Montanas, not saying they couldn't, but could they really claim that they could get the donor backing, the money, the type of enthusiastic farmer and oil checks that could roll in, the way that $50 million practice facility was built off of private donations? They collected those funds in less than 2 years. Like, NDSU is in a good position with football only invite. I think that I don't really see a lot of people pushing back on that financial side of the house.
Yeah, no, you look at the Montana schools, and I would love to see Montana State move up. I don't think Montana, honestly, is quite ready to it, but they have to go together. So that makes a massive amount of money that needs raised. If you're suddenly going to take two schools from a state of 1 million people and move them to the FBS, I don't know if that right this second is obtainable for them. Can they make it happen? Sure. But then you look at, South Dakota State, and I'll just be a little fandom there and throw out little brother over there to them. Can they raise the money? Well, they've always kind of followed NDSU. Once NDSU's done something, they've came and coming. So I wouldn't be shocked to see SDSU now make a barn burn for it. Are they going to be loud like a Sacramento State? I doubt it. I think they'll take the approach of NDSU because you look at this, there's still only 10 teams in the Mountain West. Now, I feel they still need to add. But is it going to be a South Dakota State, or is it going to be a Tarleton and UC Davis, who that's where my money would be for sure. It's coming up next.
Yeah, especially because UC Davis is already involved with them with the other sports in the Olympic side of the house. And talk about a school that could, get some money quick. And
yeah, they have deep pockets from everything.
For sure.
I can see.
A lot going for them.
Yeah.
To me, when it comes to NDSU and the financial side of the house, it's the football only thing that just sells. I cannot even imagine Twitter and Facebook if NDSU was doing this for all sports. I'd even be like, ooh.
I don't think we could afford it for all sports here. I just don't see that.
There's no way. And honestly, for the Mountain West, this is a competition play. I think they're going to be surprised how much brand eyes get on NDSU and the television numbers. I think that it's going to do more than they realize. But at the same time, I think the Mountain West presidents came together and said, if this thing's all about a G6 representation or being top in a playoff spot, possibly like a James Madison, and who knows what that looks like, we're going to get into that in a second, we have to have some competitive juice. And I think NDSU's football is going to put us there because football sells. End of the day, football sells.
Yeah, I mean, you look at NDSU and you look at the conference here, and NDSU is going to compete right away in the conference. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Are they going to win it year one? Probably not. Now, give them a couple years, and I think they'll be right there, just like they are in the FCS in Missouri Valley. I think Polasek does a hell of a job recruiting. I think now he can sell this. We are FBS. We are in the Mountain West Conference, and we're going to compete for championships. And I see that without a doubt. And give Polasek 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's going to be, and we had that as a topic thing tonight. I do think it's a little extreme what I see where I get it. I'm on Twitter. I like to get likes and hearts on there too, but NDSU could run this conference in year one and they could run it all 5 years. Like, here's the reality. NDSU, when we look at roster, you're replacing 2 All-American offensive linemen. The offensive line was young. It's a brand new quarterback. It's all new wide receivers. It's new running backs. Defensively, they're bringing back a ton besides the secondary, which got hit due to a coaching change. There's still experience there. But the idea that NDSU is, let's say this was 2012 NDSU going into 2013 or 2017 going into 2018, and that team was moving up. That is not the same situation. Hell, let's say 2024's team going into 2025 season, this year's team, people would be like, damn, watch out. But NDSU, the idea that they're just going to come in and whoop everybody in this conference, I would feel that way, honestly, in the MAC. And I would feel that way in CUSA.
Yep.
I don't feel that way. Jason Eck, the boogeyman, like he's not doing great things with the Lobos. Like there's going to be, UNLV has had a little bit of success here, building some momentum. Air Force has not been bad. So I just think that the idea that NDSU is just going to run it is just not true. But here's the thing. Taco. That's exciting a little bit.
It is exciting. I mean,
it's exciting.
Like, we're going to see games that, NDSU this year, of course, we lost the game, but most games NDSU ran the game the whole time. We didn't have any, we're going to lose. We have control. There's going to be, every single game is going to be a 7-point, a 10-point game. It's going to be competitive football. And now, like I said, give Polasek 2 or 3 years, and I think we will be a top team in the league. And I think, you'll see some blowouts here and there, but there's going to be competitive games.
For sure. And it'll be funny on social media, which isn't even real, when they lose 3 games in their first year in the Mountain West. Oh, they could have been playing for titles. That's not the point. NDSU moved up in 2004, and they weren't just running titles. They weren't just having won, undefeated seasons. They started successfully more than people anticipated. But at the end of the day, this is what life's about. If you're at a job right now and you are just absolutely crushing it, and there are so many like 3-4 opportunities and you love your company and you're just not taking that next step because you're worried. If the financials make sense, if the family makes sense, how you feel makes sense, then you go for it. Go try to do something bigger. And just as an NDSU fan, a lot of the things you'll hear is, well, you're going to play for a bowl or have fun with your 6-6 season playing wherever. I'm going to tell you right now, just like the Seattle Seahawks coach, we did not care. I do not care as a Bison fan. I do not care that I'm going to go to a bowl game. I don't care that we're competing for maybe just the conference championship. I'm going to support the program. I love a new feeling of competition. And this is what football is. And at the end of the day, this is the reality. People will tell me, I'll see a Youngstown fan. I'll see a random, I don't know, a CAA fan. And they'll go, well, have fun in the bowl game when you could have been playing for titles. Win 10 of them.
Yeah.
Like, win 10 of them. Because I know South Dakota State fans who've won 2 of them, and they got a little FBS itch. It's like when you're the fan whose team makes the semis, and to you that's the most euphoric experience in your life, I get it. You can't imagine if you actually won a title. Win 5, win 6, win 7. Do you know what you want to do after that? You want to take freshman mode on NCAA 2026, and you want to flip it to varsity. That's what you want to do, because you're like, okay, time to do it. So I personally just, for any fans in the future, not that it's going to matter, Bison fans are ready. We're ready for the next step. And I think the FCS is too. And as much as I'm focusing on kind of the people who are haters, I would honestly, from what I can see, 90% of people are like, this is a healthy thing. This is a healthy thing. They're going up. It's a healthy thing for us in the FCS. I do think it's a good thing. What do you think about the FCS as a whole with NDSU moving on? You think this is a positive thing for the league? Where's your mentality with that? Specifically too, man, with like Dakotas and Montanas, kind of those teams that poke at NDSU. I mean, what do you think in terms of that?
I think it's a positive overall for the FCS. I mean, at the end of the day, the FCS is sick of North Dakota State. Get out of here. Let us compete type of deal. Are they winning it every year? No, obviously. We didn't win it this year. But we're at batting like a 90% or 8% rate in the championship games on it, and 80-some% rate overall in the FCS since we moved up. It's time to move on. Like you said, win 10 of them. What is there left to do? And I think overall for the FCS, with us leaving, it gives it a little more parity. Yes, you're still going to have the Dakotas. You're going to have South Dakota State. I think UND is definitely an up-and-coming team. You're going to have the Montanans. You're going to have Tarleton if they're around still. You're going to have a Davis. You're going to have the teams. You're going to have a Furman here that can get good years. I think overall it's really healthy for the FCS for NDSU to be out.
Yeah, I like, well, Seth here says it weakens the FCS, makes them sad, just like NDSU fans were sad when App State and GSU left. But I will say this, I do like Kevin Marshall's stance of like, hey, good luck, have fun up there. He said that to every team that's left from FCS radio. But here's the thing, there's always filler. There just is. Like NDSU filled where App State and these others couldn't. And James Madison came in on the back end and was like, you know, that close team. And the Montanas never go away, and they have they're not trying to move right now. They have no motivation. Those fan bases aren't motivated to do it. South Dakota State is up and coming. There are just a lot of FCS teams. I think the FCS as a whole is going to be just fine. I think it's overblown that, oh no, now the market and the dollars of what NDSU did for the FCS is dead. The FCS doesn't make money, okay?
No.
It doesn't make money anyways. So the idea that the competition is gone, I think it's going to be way more fun. I think it's going to be way more competitive. I think you're going to get a lot more champions because coaches are going to leave, and not every program like NDSU can just put a coach in and they keep rolling. I mean, just look at the teams NDSU beat in the playoffs that could have been title national champions over the last 15 years. There's a lot of them. And it's not just James Madison. It's not just South Dakota State. There's plenty of teams that would have walked away with titles if the Bison aren't there. So I think this is good for the FCS. I think the format of the FCS is still top tier. It destroys what the G6 and the P4 has going on. So I think if you're an FCS fan, you shouldn't be down on yourself at all. I think you should still be excited. And yeah, what do you think?
It opens up storylines for the FCS. It's not just going to be NDSU. NDSU. You're going to have new storylines, the FCS. And I think that's just a massive win for the FCS. Does it bring down some appeal of the FCS, maybe the top team? Sure, they're gone. But another team's going to replace NDSU. Is it, South Dakota State, Montana, or is it somebody new in the FCS? Is it a Division II team that's going to move up to the FCS and do well? I just think, like you said, overall, I think NDSU is a huge win for the FCS for what they did in the FCS while they were there. It brought a lot of attention to FCS football. And at a time where FCS football wasn't huge, I think FCS football has grown vastly in the past even 7-8 years on it. You look at Game Day has been to numerous FCS places. ESPN has broadcast from numerous FCS places. But there's a time to always move on, and the time for NDSU is here. They need to move on, and they need to grow.
Yeah, this is the time to execute. It's good timing for everybody. Do you think it matters if the P4 splits or not, or is this just the time? Was this just the time for the Bison?
I think it was just the time. I am a believer the P4 is going to split off, and I think you will see a G6 playoff format, and I hope they follow the FCS format when they decide to do it. Will they still want to be like the P4 and follow their format? I don't know, but I really hope they look at the FCS format and say, hey, this is a format that works. It's a format that gives everybody a chance, and it's a format people like.
It's, I mean, as a Bison fan, what do you think happens? Let's say you're playing in 2026, which right now rumor is they might be on the field versus Mountain West. What do you think the Dome? What do you think the tailgating? What do you think happens over those 3 months of football in comparison to the FCS time? Do you think it's like 2011 rebound, 20?
I do. I think the phones will be ringing Monday for people wanting to get season tickets. I maybe have let them go or don't have them. I would imagine the Dome will be 2011 again. I can't imagine a game not being sold out. I can't imagine the hype being back. And I can't imagine NDSU actually not living up to a little bit of the hype. I think you're looking at an 8-2 team, maybe in the conference, 7-3, I think at worst on it.
Could be exciting. I'm excited to meet some of these. We still need pen to paper, but you meet some of these Mountain West fans, see what these things could do. My brother-in-law is born and raised in Vegas. He's a big UNLV fan, mostly because of their basketball, but he's been wanting this for years. He's like, heck yeah, we'll head back to Vegas. He lives in Minnesota right now, and we'll catch UNLV games.
Instead of talking about going to Brookings, Matt, we're going to be on a plane going to Hawaii.
Oh man, I need to go down to Brookings for a game in 2027 because I said that was the year guaranteed because my kids are old enough that I would go with Thumper and them for a Dakota Marker matchup. So this is actually coming true. 2027, I got to go with Thumper and our JI boys and find out my date to go down there and watch some Jackrabbit football. Sadly, it won't be for the Marker, which is disappointing.
Yeah, but where do things have happened? Maybe the Marker's back on in a year or two.
No doubt. All right, man. Well, what do you think? Okay, Montana State next year now probably is a beyond favorite. Bobby Houck is gone, and NDSU could be out of the picture. I mean, jeepers. Those Bobcats should be far and wide the favorite, especially their schedule should get them a top 2 seed. Just next year from the Taco King, who do you see maybe being able to put up a fight with them?
I think UND is going to be sneaky good next year. Their coach, I think Eric is. He's a hell of a coach. They have turned the program around, I think, in the short time they have been there. And I think now you give them this extra year. I think UND is going to be sneaky good. SDSU, I think, is going to be vastly improved next year on it. And you can never count out the brawl that, Montana couldn't pull an upset there. But I do think you see Montana State now as a heavy favorite of it. And it's going to be them as the old NDSU I'm going to replace NDSU with right now. I think they're the new king of the hill. And I think every team's chasing them right now. I do think there might be them by themselves in their own tier. And then the next year you can see an SDSU, a UND, Tarleton, maybe Davis in there. I just think Montana State next year is going to be by themselves now for sure. And I was leaning they were kind of by themselves even with NDSU until NDSU proved themselves. And before I forget about it, shout out to the T6 guys for our hat. They gave us down in Nashville. First time I could tell them thank you. So I figured I'd wear it tonight considering they are the champs.
KC, and shout out to Peyton. She's the real MVP. The thing with the FCS is they're going to be just fine. And If you think Brent Vegan's not going to be an FBS coach after next year, you're crazy. He's already taken calls and interviews prior. Now he'll be undefeated next year going into the playoffs off a national championship. And then a bunch of players with Montana State will go with Vegan to wherever he goes or what have you. And then 2027 is probably a more open avenue. So, again, the FCS is going to have a lot to offer. Hey, we're going to Nashville no matter what because we won't have a bowl game, right?
Yeah.
We're still going to go, right?
I already got my hotel room.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm not wasting that,
Yeah.
While we're on the FCS topic, I think another interesting for next year, I think the Ivies are going to be improved next year, and they were damn good this year. I think the Ivies got a little taste of that playoff, and I don't think Yale liked losing that much. They had a lot of support behind them, so I think the Ivies could be one to watch next year for sure too.
Yeah, when you got the money and you got the backing, and yeah, it's going to become more of an open field. It'll be interesting to see what Missouri Valley does. Now that they're not going to have, you could say, the king of the castle walking around anymore. Since the Jacks were scheduled to play at NDSU this year, does this stay as a non-com game, says Seth. Ironically, they're calling the players meeting on 7 in the morning on Monday a future schedules meeting. So I think a lot of these things of what NDSU schedule could be, once this is official, you're going to get a lot of answers to these sort of things. There's going to be a lot of reactionary things that need to happen. So
it'll be interesting because, I mean, you got 9 teams NDSU can play from the Mountain West, so you still need some more games there.
Right.
So does NDSU look and say, hey, South Dakota State, we'll still play you. We just have to move it.
Right.
But South Dakota State, I haven't looked at their schedule here. I'm guessing has games on any day we could play them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that'll be a tricky thing. I think we're going to have to pull some non-conference games out of the hat, and maybe some of them won't be great, but at the end of the day, you do what you need to do to get into the Mountain West.
Jason here, Sam Houston played 9 games in transition. You don't need to fill it up. I think I hope a lot of these former FCS fans are. I mean, there's no doubt that Jamie and myself, we have interest now, of course, that could be in the next level. So expect there to be some content in terms of that level combined with our FCS stuff. I think we would love to see these Sam Houston, James Madison fans, and these people that we got to know really well. We'd love to see some mixed content of one podcast and another, but more of that to come later. Brian, this question's good because this will probably be the last one we discuss tonight, which is who do you guys see moving up after NDSU? Montana's, Tarleton, SFA, SDSU. I want to go back on this a little bit. People claim that call was made to Montana's and Dakotas, the XDSUs, SDSU, NDSU, and the Montanas about when that NIU stuff was going around, about some sort of package move. I have no confirmation if it's true or not. The source that I listen to, guys, my wife and Brian don't even know who the person is. They have probably a 90% hit rate. I never heard anything about this, but I did hear a lot of rumors of like there is possibilities of like, what would you be willing to pay to get in? And so here's the thing. NDSU is going to pay the money. The opportunity presented itself, and they're like, we're going to pay $16 to $17 million of donated private money, and we're going to get in. So my question would go back to this one, which is who do you see moving up next? Who's willing to fork over the cash?
I think the no-brainer, like we talked about earlier, is Davis. Davis is Mountain West and everything else. They have the money. They're building a 30,000 brand new seat stadium. I just don't see any of that. Like I said, when Polisak got his $1 million a year contract, you don't pay an FCS coach that much money. You don't do it. So the Davis is barn burning hundreds of millions here. They're coming. And then after that, I think Tarleton is a pretty easy grab and a good fit for the Mountain West.
I'm going to be interested to see the reaction to like South Dakota State and others, because it's going to come down to dollars. And are your fan bases now going to be so passionate to keep up with, to go to where NDSU is? Let's say NDSU is doing okay. Let's say it's not James Madison. Let's say it's like they're always over 500. They've won 3 bowl games. They've lost 2. Like, will they start donating and getting the money, and the P4 still hasn't split, to get up into that area or be ready for it? That I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sold that that's going to happen?
I want to be sold on it for South Dakota State, but I'm not sold on it, being that I've been to a handful of games down there, and yet the NDSU is courses sold out, but I've been to others and they're just not. And they're on the verge where NDSU, when they had 2 national championships, dome was packed every time, without question, at that point in the NDSU legacy. Now I get it. Brookings is way smaller than Fargo, Sioux Falls is 30 minutes away. So they have plenty to draw from there. I would like to see them come. I mean, I'd like to see the rivalry back. It's a 2-hour rivalry. Do they have the money is the question. Are they ready to fork over 16, 17? Well, wait a couple years, 20, 21, 22 million.
See, it's interesting you say this, because I was going on Twitter with a few people professionally. I was saying, they're like, well, when we move up, one was UND fan, one was somewhere else. And they were like, when we move up, it's not going to cost us this, because after the P4 split, we will be able to they're going to need teams. And I'm like, wait, are you telling me that of the 100 and could be 37 teams of FBS, 40 are probably financially able to be that P4, okay? You're telling me those 96 remaining teams are going to be like, oh my gosh,
we need more teams.
Our conferences are already set. We have the numbers for 96. We could do a 16-team playoff. We need the Montanas and South Dakota State. Even if NDSU wasn't moved up there, we need NDSU. No, I don't think so. I think they're going to be like, well, now we need to worry about our TV revenue of what our playoff and G6 does. So you think we're just going to give you access to come take some of that for what? Like, we're already our own league. I think it's going to be more expensive. I think it's going to cost just as much, if not more, in the future.
I said 20, 21, 22 million. 96 teams of G6 does not need the Montanas, does not need a Dakota. Would they maybe entertain having one? Sure. But again, you're gonna pay. You're not going to let you in.
No. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay to play. Josh Hoffman, off cusp question, my man. What are you drinking? You know, I this is a 2 margaritas with Matt, and it's in a wine glass. So that is that's what I went with tonight. I cracked the Coors Light though for the intro thing. But Brian, we don't want to be. There's going to be lots more to talk on this. I predict pretty confidently that on Monday we're going to see some official things come through. What are your kind of final thoughts on what this is, and final thoughts on the whole thing, man?
It's the move again, just like the move was from Division II to FCS for NDSU. Now it's the same move, just to the FBS. I think it puts excitement back in the program, puts excitement back into the fans. It now gives us a new thing to reach for. I mean, are we going to win an FBS national championship? Hell to the no, we're not going to here. Not going to happen. No. Okay, we're good with that. Can we win Mountain West championships? Yes, we can. Can we be a top 25 team in the nation? Yes, we can. Mm-hmm. I think that is right now. You're looking at NDSU. That's what we're looking for. That's what the fans want. That's what the administration want. That's what the program wants. And it's time to take that step.
The goal for NDSU will always be to play at the top or second to top level of competition. But this has been important for probably the last 5 to 6 years. What they view as peer institutions, PEER, institutions that prioritize football and mirror the success of things or what they believe they are. And NDSU believes, and rightfully so, has earned the right to say, we're like App State, we're like Georgia Southern, we're like Coastal Carolina, Sam Houston, Kennesaw, others, better or equal to, whatever you want to put them as. Those are the type of schools that prioritize what we prioritize. We don't view that with the majority of the FCS that remains. SDSU does, the Montanas do. But after that, the list is small in terms of success, what they prioritize, and the money they're willing to put into it. They want to be, and it's really in that G6 range, and I think it fits well. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the athletic budget goes to for football. I mean, obviously it has to go up. NDSU is going to get $2 million-ish a year, maybe $3 million for TV rights and this and that. So what are the fans gonna put on the table? And I mean, I can say this: my donation is going to go up. I think.
Same.
Yep. Any fan. I mean, is it going to go up? What amount? Who knows? it's going to go up a decent amount, but I think every fan is going to pitch in. Is it $100 more? Is it 200? But there's a lot of team makers out there and a lot of fans. So I think once you get to the numbers, I think we can get there. And I think we can be competitive at the next level and the Mountain West. And it's something that NDSU, like you said, has wanted for the last 5 years or so. There's been a decent amount of noise and it's gotten loud lately.
Correct. And don't worry, FCS Fans Nation, we're not going anywhere. We'll see you in Nashville next year. Whether the big boogeyman of the Bison are here or not, it's always fun to be able to catch some off-season episodes. We promise that you get more of these this year. And don't worry, we've got a slate. They're still going to be coming. So we appreciate the over 241 people who hopped on at some point to check us out tonight. And Taco, I appreciate you making a Saturday night evening of this. A quick hits question for you. Super Bowl prediction. And a score if you want to give it.
Well, I mean, the NDSU Seahawks, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
Powerhouse.
Starting center and Sundell and the guard. And just think how wild that is.
Oh, yeah.
Starting guard in the Super Bowl was playing football last year here at NDSU.
Yeah.
Wild this time
Absolutely.
last year. He was just have won a national championship. So, no, I think it's going to be a competitive game, but give me the Seahawks by a touchdown.
Yeah, I like a similar prediction. So, all right, FCS Fans Nation, we appreciate you jumping in on Saturday. And for those of you catching this on the back end, we hope your offseason is going great. Congrats again to the Cats. I hope you're sleeping well with your national championship trophies. To the NDSU Bison fans, hopefully your news is exciting over the next week. And we are excited to get back to football after the big show of the Super Bowl tomorrow. Make sure you hit like, subscribe here, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Brian, appreciate you again for coming on. To all the fans, we love you guys. We will catch you on the next one. Boom.